does he do it? Time and time again. He drops into positions. Nobody tracks him. Nobody sees him. He's like a ghost.
That was really bad.
Bernardo Silva is one of the most versatile midfielders we have ever seen. He has played every position you can think of, from right wing to center attacking mid to even left back. Bernardo has done it all. He's not fast like Doku, he's not tall like Rodri, and he isn't strong like Haaland. But what if I told you, despite all of this, he is one of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League?
Bernardo is a player you say, okay, you're going to play in that position, you don't have to say anything else. He understands everything. He's one of the best players I ever trained in my life.
What separates Bernardo from everyone else is his dribbling and footballing IQ. His intelligence allows him to always be a step ahead of all the other players on the pitch. On top of this, he has some of the best dribbling I have ever seen since Lionel Messi. He is able to dribble out of the tightest spaces, then make the right decision every time. He can either make the perfect through ball or finish it himself. Bernardo's combination of excellent technical ability combined with an unlimited work engine makes him one of the most irreplaceable players in the world of football.
Bernardo Silva sets up the strike. Oh, it's a belter from Bernardo Silva.
The build of Bernardo Silva has always caused him issues ever since his childhood. Even at a young age, there were players who were taller and stronger than him, but they couldn't match his ability on the ball. His IQ and dribbling made him survive the fierce competition he faced as a youth. He came up through the Benfica youth system, playing for Benfica B in 2013 and was promoted to the first team in 2014. There was some buzz around his name after his performances for the Portugal national team at the 2013 Under-19 European Championship. Portugal had reached the semi-finals and Bernardo was named among the top 10 talents under the age of 19 in Europe by a selection of UEFA reporters. Despite the hype, Bernardo wouldn't make his first start for Benfica until the age of 19. While he put together some good performances for Benfica B and earned the league's Breakthrough Player of the Year award, Benfica didn't see his true value. He was overlooked time and time again, getting only 31 minutes of playing time across 3 matches during the 2013-2014 season. At times, he wasn't even training with the first team. Benfica made it very clear that they didn't need Bernardo and didn't see his talents as they loaned him out to Monaco in the summer of 2014.
I'm very happy to be here in Monaco. I know it's a great club. I know a little bit of the history of Monaco.
In his first season at France, Bernardo made 15 appearances. He scored the only goal in a win against Marseille and scored twice in a 3-0 away win against Caen. His performances were so impressive that Monaco decided to buy him just 6 months into his loan spell. He was bought for 15.75 million euros, an absolute steal. But as you can see from the fee, Benfica didn't value him as highly as they should have. They had players like Salvio and Gaetan who were faster and flashier than Bernardo. He was always someone that was counted out due to his size and physical appearance. They didn't value Bernardo's incredible footballing IQ and technical ability. Thankfully, Monaco saw his potential.
Bernardo Silva!
The 2014-2015 season was just a taste of what Bernardo could do. It's like going to a restaurant and starting with the appetizers. The 2016-2017 season is where Bernardo began to show the actual meal. At just 23 years old, Bernardo was the brains behind a talented Monaco team that took Ligue 1 and Europe by storm. This is a team that had Mbappe, Fabinho, and Falcao, but it was Bernardo who was the best player. Bernardo wasn't fast like Mbappe or strong like Fabinho, but every attack went through him. He could see things before everybody else, knowing when to slow down the game and when to accelerate. He was always on the move, whether he had the ball or not. His dribbling was so impressive that his fellow teammate Benjamin Mendy called him bubblegum because the ball was glued to his foot. Another teammate, Jemerson, the center back, says Bernardo is magic and not of this world. At training and during matches, he does incredible things, Jemerson said. You think he's about to lose the ball, but no, it is still there between his feet. You don't even know how he did it. Bernardo's under-18 coach Pepa felt that Bernardo developed his footballing brain as a result of being the smallest player on the pitch. He always knew that he could never win the physical battle because he was always the smallest and lightest, so he always wondered how to avoid the challenges, says Pepa. That's why today, he is always 2 or 3 steps ahead when he receives the ball. Bernardo started the season off by scoring an equalizer in the 87th minute against CSKA Moscow in the Champions League. A few months later, he scored Monaco's last 2 goals to beat Marseille and move to the top of the Ligue 1 table. Monaco were going to stay there thanks to another late equalizer from Bernardo against PSG at the Parc des Princes. While Bernardo doesn't always put up the craziest stats, he has an ability to always show up in the big games, a theme we will see again in the rest of the video. video. His performance against Tottenham in the Champions League group stages was so good that this is what Hugo Lloris had to say about it. "We could not take the ball away from him. It was incredible. I admire the player he is," said Hugo Lloris, after Spurs were beaten twice by Monaco in the Champions League. Silva finished the season with 11 goals and 12 assists, helping Monaco disrupt PSG's monopoly over France. Monaco also made it all the way to the last four of the Champions League. His performance against Manchester City in the round of 16 was so good that it caught the attention of Pep Guardiola. Pep loves intelligent players. If we look over the selection of Pep over the years, guys like Xavi, Iniesta, David Silva, Pep always loves these players and really understands where the potential lies in. And as soon as he saw Bernardo in the match, he wanted to sign him from Manchester City. With David Silva coming towards the back end of his career, it was obvious that Bernardo would be the most ideal replacement. Both small, agile, incredibly intelligent, with a magical left foot. Both of them could play as a box-to-box midfielder, as a false nine, as a winger. Any role that is required, Bernardo could play.
Bernardo Silva, le Portugais, le bonheur, surface de réparation!
On the 26th of May 2017, Manchester City confirmed the signing of Bernardo on a 5-year contract for a reported €50 million fee. Crazy to think that Monaco got him just 3 years earlier for a fraction of that price. In February of 2018, Bernardo scored his first Champions League goal for his new club in a 4-0 win against Basel. The next month, big game Bernardo showed up again, scoring the winning goal against Chelsea. This was a massive win for Manchester City at the time because it put him only 3 wins away from lifting the Premier League title. Despite being the new guy, Bernardo established himself as a vital member of Pep Guardiola's team. He played for Manchester City 53 times in all competitions, the most of any City player that season. Manchester City achieved a record of 100 points in the Premier League that season, with a right wing that was 5'8" with a lean body type, making his way through the most physical league in the world, scoring 9 goals and providing 11 assists. The next season, Manchester City needed Bernardo even more. Kevin De Bruyne had missed the majority of the season due to injury. Someone had to step up to take over the responsibility of scoring and creating chances. Bernardo showed his versatility as he transitioned from somebody who was playing on the right consistently to someone who could play more centrally. Many journalists were sure that Bernardo Silva shot himself in the foot while taking the challenge of playing more centrally with the limitation of his physical ability. It's easy for the shorter players to be on the wing, they said, but Bernardo didn't care. He made 51 appearances, scoring 13 goals and getting 14 assists in all competitions. One of his best performances came in the Manchester Derby where he scored the opening goal. All of his stats had gone up from his long-range passing accuracy to chances created in open play. Deservedly, he was voted into the PFA Team of the Year and won Manchester City's Player of the Season award that was voted by fans. Despite City's underwhelming performance as a team in 2020, Bernardo Silva was one of the few shining players. He scored 8 goals and provided 10 assists, including a hat-trick against Watford in a season where City not only lost the Premier League, but were embarrassingly knocked out by Lyon in the quarterfinal. At the beginning of the 2021-2022 season, Pep Guardiola revealed that Bernardo had expressed a desire to leave the club during the summer transfer period. Reports suggested his discontent in Manchester, with Atletico Madrid and AC Milan showing interest in getting him. Despite these rumors, Bernardo stayed with Manchester City throughout the transfer window and started delivering standout performances. He scored a decisive goal in a 1-0 win against Leicester City, played a key role in a 5-0 thrashing of Arsenal, and earned man of the match against Liverpool and Chelsea. Pep Guardiola later praised Bernardo, acknowledging him as one of the best players in the world.
He's one of the best players I've ever seen in my life.
He really did look like the best player in the world after scoring City's second goal in a 2-0 win against Manchester United. Bernardo just loves dunking on United at Old Trafford. Just a few days later, Bernardo made history, becoming the first player ever in the Champions League at the time to register 100% pass accuracy in a match. He was named man of the match after providing an assist for Gabriel Jesus in City's 2-1 win against PSG. That win ensured that City would get to the round of 16 again. Despite having 13 goals and 7 assists in all competitions, while seamlessly transitioning from right wing to central midfield, all the headlines at this stage were about Kevin De Bruyne. The season before, Gundogan had received all the attention because he had scored 17 goals. Bernardo wasn't even included in the PFA Team of the Year that season. 6 City players were in it, but not Bernardo. Things didn't change much in the 2022-2023 season. All the hype around Manchester City went to Haaland, and Rodri. It does make sense, Haaland scored 52 goals in all competitions, but if we look at the games, it was really Bernardo that showed up when the team needed it the most. Bernardo had a goal and assist in the first leg of the quarterfinals against Bayern Munich. Then he scored a brace in a 4-0 win over Real Madrid in the semi-final second leg, which sent City to the Champions League final. In the final, he provided a crucial assist to Rodri, who scored the match-winning goal against Inter Milan, securing Manchester City's first ever Champions League trophy and completing the treble. So you are seeing a pattern here. It's always the cross or pass of Bernardo to the scorer that creates the headlines. But Bernardo himself is so underrated when it comes to his contribution to the team. He did get some appreciation by being selected in the 2022-2023 UEFA Champions League team of the tournament, but Rodri was voted as the player of the tournament. Haaland and Rodri were both in Ballon d'Or conversations for the whole year, meanwhile Bernardo was barely mentioned for the award. Haaland, KDB, Rodri, Gundogan. That is the order of the players who got the most appreciation. Even John Stones was talked about more after his performance in the center back / center defensive mid hybrid role in the final over Bernardo Silva's consistency. Bernardo's lack of flashiness both on and off the pitch might be the reason he isn't appreciated more. Despite being an absolute elite footballer, he doesn't live like one. In Monaco, he lived in a tiny one-bedroom flat with a small kitchen. According to The Guardian, he cleaned the dishes manually. He did not have a dishwasher. Instead, he would hang out his utensils to dry on his modest balcony. He doesn't have tattoos or fancy watches, Ferraris or private jets. He is an unbelievably humble player who plays football at the highest level possible. His play on the pitch is the same. Despite being so technically gifted, he isn't afraid of doing the dirty work in midfield. The bubblegum genius.
I'd love if my grandfather was here to look at me winning this competition. He's not here anymore, and it meant so much to him that I played football. He was watching all my games, so I would like to share this one with him.
Bernardo Silva isn't the only player to be underappreciated due to his lack of flashiness. To see how Toni Kroos dealt with the same issue, check out this video right here.